What's up, everyone? I'm Rage's Band, and welcome to the show. Now, when we think about relationships, we usually picture a straight line, right? 2 points, you and your boo, connected. Simple, clean, like an iPhone charging cable before it gets all tangled up behind your nightstand. But let's be real, love is rarely that simple. It's messy, it's complicated, and for a growing number of people, it's not a line at all. It's a shape. A complex, multi-sided, geometric shape. That's right, we're talking about polyamory, and we're going to break it down using the one thing that terrified us all in high school, geometry. So, forget everything you thought you knew. We're not dealing with a simple line segment. We're upgrading our OS to a decagon, a 10-sided figure of love. Why a decagon? Because it's got angles, it's got sides, and it's complicated enough to represent the beautiful chaos of modern relationships. Each side is a person, a connection, a story. And we're going to explore this shape, one rotation at a time. In the Philippines, we call this an ikot, a turn, a spin, a rotation. Each ikot of our love decagon adds another layer, another set of partners, revealing a new, intricate dynamic. This isn't just about adding more people, it's about understanding the structure, the geometry of connection. How do these relationships work? What are the pressure points? What are the support beams? We're going from a simple circle to a 100-person love decahedron of epic proportions. It's going to get weird, it's going to get mathematical, and hopefully by the end we'll understand that love isn't about finding your other half. It's about building your own unique, beautiful, and maybe slightly insane polygon. So grab your protractors, because class is in session. Alright, let's start with the basics. The first ikot, the first rotation of our decagon. This isn't just one person with 10 partners. No, that's too simple. This is a closed loop, a perfect circle. 10 people, all interconnected. Think of it as a relationship daisy chain. Person A is with person B, who's with person C, all the way down to person J, who, plot twist, is with person A. It's the human centipede of romance, but, consensual and way less German. This is the circle Jowas model. Jowa is Filipino slang for a boyfriend or girlfriend, so we're talking about a circle of partners. The beauty of the circle is its egalitarian nature. In theory, everyone is connected. Everyone is part of the whole. There's no center, no hierarchy. It's like a co-op board meeting for feelings. Communication has to be on point. If person D has a problem with person E, it sends a ripple effect all the way back to person A. You can't just mute one person in the group chat, because the group chat the relationship. It requires an insane level of emotional intelligence and scheduling skills that would make a NASA mission planner weep. Imagine the logistics. Planning a group vacation? You need to coordinate 10 work schedules, 10 dietary restrictions, and 10 different opinions on whether a trip to a volcano is romantic or a potential Pompeii reenactment. One person forgets an anniversary, and they're not just in the doghouse with one partner. They've disappointed an entire geometric shape. The pressure is immense. It's a delicate balance, a 10-person trust fall where everyone has to catch everyone else. But the support system is also tenfold. Got a flat tire? You have 9 other people you can potentially call. Need to move a couch? You've got a built-in moving crew. It's community, but with more kissing. The Circle Jowas dynamic is a testament to the idea that a relationship can be a collective, a shared project where everyone has a stake. It's a system built on continuous, flowing connection, where every point on the circle is equally important to maintaining the shape. The challenge, of course, is preventing the circle from breaking. One weak link, one person deciding they're more of a line segment person, and the whole structure is compromised. It's high risk, high reward. It's the base level of our polyamorous geometry, the foundational decagon from which all other complexities will be built. This is just one rotation, 10 people. Buckle up, because we're about to spin this thing again. Okay, deep breaths. We're going for our second ECOT. We spin the decagon again and bam! We've doubled our numbers. We're now at 20 people. The complexity just ramped up. This isn't just two separate circles of 10. No, that's amateur hour. The second rotation interlocks with the first, creating new triangular connections. This is where we get the isosceles or hypotenuse Jawas. We're moving from circles to the foundational shape of drama, the triangle. Think about it. You have person A from the first circle. They are now connected to two new people from the second circle. Let's call them person K and person L. So you have A, K, and L forming a neat little triangle. Now, what kind of triangle is it? Is it an isosceles triangle where person A has an equally balanced relationship with both K and L? This is the ideal, the Zen state of thruples. A is the vertex, and K and L are the base angles, perfectly symmetrical. Everyone knows their role. Communication is clear. It's stable. It's balanced. But what if it's not isosceles? What if it's a right triangle? Uh-oh. Now you've got a hypotenuse. One relationship, the one between K and L, is suddenly the longest side. It's the power dynamic. Maybe person A is the right angle, the pivot point, but the real energy, the real tension, is on that hypotenuse. A might feel like a third wheel in their own thruple, or maybe A, the hypotenuse, the connection that bridges two otherwise separate worlds. That's a lot of pressure. You're literally the hypotenuse, the thing that completes the theorem. A squared plus B squared equals U squared. No big deal. With 20 people organized into these interlocking triangles, the network becomes a web of potential inequalities. You now have to manage not just your direct partners, but the relationships your partners have. It's emotional calculus. You have to consider the angles, the lengths of the sides. Are you the short side, the long side? Are you acute or obtuse? These aren't just math terms anymore. They're relationship statuses. Yeah, me and Dave and Sarah are in a bit of an obtuse phase right now. Things are stretched. This second rotation introduces hierarchy and imbalance, whether you want it to or not. The simple, egalitarian circle is gone. Now we have vertices, bases, and hypotenuses. We have power dynamics defined by geometric properties. Managing a 20-person network of interconnected triangles requires constant negotiation, checking in, and a deep, deep understanding of the Pythagorean theorem of feelings. It's a beautiful, intricate lattice of love, but one wrong calculation and the whole structure could collapse. Welcome to the third ECOT. We spin the decagon again. The music gets a little more intense. The graphics on the screen get a little more frantic. We're now at 30 people, and if you thought the Pythagorean theorem was complicated, you're about to enter the fifth dimension of drama. This is the love triangle Joas level. We're not just dealing with simple triangles anymore. We're dealing with triangles, creating a fractal of potential heartbreak and joy. With 30 people, the classic love triangle, one person torn between two others, becomes the fundamental building block of the entire system. But it's not just one. It's happening everywhere, simultaneously. Person A is in a triangle with B and C, but B is also in a triangle with D and E, and C is in a triangle with F and G. It's a domino effect of romantic tension. A single decision in one triangle can set off a chain reaction that destabilizes a whole quadrant of the network. It's like playing three-dimensional chess, but every pawn has feelings and a burner phone. The complexity here is exponential. You're not just managing your own relationships, you're a supporting character in a dozen other romantic comedies and tragedies at the same time. Your partner's partner is having an issue with other partner, and somehow you're now mediating a fight that you have absolutely nothing to do with. You become a relationship diplomat, a hostage negotiator for emotions. The group chat now has subgroup chats and secret subgroup chats for complaining about the main group chat. This is the stage where communication becomes less of a skill and more of a superpower. You need to be radically honest, not just with your direct partners, but with everyone in your immediate vicinity. The potential for jealousy, for miscommunication, for feeling left out is immense. Imagine trying to schedule a simple brunch. It's not just you and your two partners. It's you, your two partners, and the other people they're seeing, who also have partners. Your brunch for three has turned into a catering order for a small wedding, but on the flip side, the potential for connection is also magnified. You have access to a vast network of people, experiences, and perspectives. It's a chosen family on an industrial scale. The love triangle, often seen as a source of conflict, can also be a source of strength. It can be a stable, three-pointed structure. When it works, it's not about one person choosing between two others. It's about three people choosing each other, creating a unit stronger than any pair. The third ECOT forces a choice. Will your triangles be points of failure or pillars of support? All right, fourth ECOT, 4 rotations, 40 people. We are now officially in This Is My Life Now territory. The triangles are starting to link up, and we're forming larger shapes. Welcome to the world of quadrilaterals, the quad squad, the four-sided Joas. This is where things get really structural. We're talking squares, rhombuses, and rectangles. You and 3 other people are now forming a closed loop, a 4-cornered relationship. Let's break down the geometry. The ideal state is the square. 4 people, 4 equal sides, 4 90-degree angles. This is the unicorn of polyamory. Everyone has an equal relationship with the 2 people adjacent to them. The lines of communication are clear, the power dynamics are perfectly balanced. It's a beautiful, stable, and incredibly rare structure. It's the 4-person cuddle puddle of perfect equilibrium. Everyone feels secure. Everyone feels valued. It's the stuff of polyamorous legend. But what happens when the sides aren't equal? Then you get a rhombus. The sides are still equal in length, meaning the intensity of the one-on-one relationships might be similar. But the angles are messed up. 2 are acute, 2 are obtuse. This means some of the internal dynamics are pinched and intense, while others are wide and distant. You and your partner might be fine, but the relationship between your respective other partners is strained, creating a tension that warps the whole shape. It looks stable from the outside, but inside, it's all skewed angles. Then there's the rectangle. Here you have 2 pairs of equal sides. This often represents 2 established couples who have decided to date each other. You have a long, strong connection with your primary partner, and a newer, maybe shorter connection with another person, who also has a primary partner. This is a very common structure. The challenge is ensuring the shorter sides don't feel less important than the longer sides. It's easy for the original couples to retreat into their primary dynamic, leaving the quad to collapse back into 2 pairs. With a network of 40 people, you have these quadrilaterals forming all over the place, intersecting and overlapping. You might be the corner of a stable square in one part of your life, while also being the acute angle of a stressful rhombus in another. The emotional whiplash is real. You're constantly navigating different geometric proofs. If I am in a rectangle with A, B, and C, and B is also in a rhombus with D, E, and F, how do I plan my weekend? This level of complexity requires a rule book, not a metaphorical one, a literal one. People in these quads often have house rules, shared Google calendars, and regular State of the Union meetings to make sure all 4 corners of the shape are holding up. It's less spontaneous romance, more romantic bureaucracy, but it's the only way to keep the geometry from collapsing. The 4th ECOT teaches us that as relationships scale, so must the architecture that supports them. 5th ECOT. We are halfway through. We spin the decagon, and we now have a network of 50 people. 50. That's not a relationship network. That's a small town. The shapes are getting more complex, more sides, more problems. Here we enter the realm of the pentagon and the trapezoid. The clean, symmetrical shapes are getting harder to find. we are now deep in the territory of asymmetrical love. First, the pentagon. 5 people, all connected. This could be a closed loop like our original circle, but with 5 points instead of 10. Or it could be a V formation, where one person, the hinge, is dating 2 couples who don't necessarily date each other. The logistics are a nightmare. A 5-person relationship has 10 unique one-on-one relationship dynamics within it that all need to be maintained. 10. That's a full-time job with unpaid overtime. Forget work-life balance. You need a life-love balance. The pentagon represents a significant increase in internal complexity. It's the first shape where a single person can be outvoted. In a triangle or a quad, you can have a stalemate. In a pentagon, you can have a 3-2 split. Imagine trying to decide on a movie. 3 people want to watch a Marvel movie, 2 want to watch a historical drama. Democracy can feel an awful lot like being left out. It requires an even higher level of maturity to navigate group decisions when you're in the minority. Then we have the trapezoid. This is a quadrilateral, but unlike the square or rectangle, only 2 sides are parallel. What does that mean in relationship terms? It often means you have 2 people, let's call them the base, who are central anchors. Maybe they live together or are primary partners. Then you have 2 other people who are connected to them, but not to each other, and their connections to the base are not equal. One might be a long-term partner, the other, a new flame. The 2 parallel sides represent a stable core, while the non-parallel sides represent relationships of varying length, angle, and intensity. This is a very real-world shape. It acknowledges that not all relationships in a network will be equal or symmetrical. Some connections are stronger, some are more casual. The trapezoid is honest about its own imbalance. The challenge is to make sure the people on the non-parallel sides, the legs of the trapezoid, feel secure and valued, even if their relationship doesn't run parallel to the primary one. It's about managing expectations and being clear about the shape you're actually in. At 50 people, the network is a sprawling cityscape of these different polygons. You might be part of a stable pentagonal unit that intersects with a wobbly trapezoid. Navigating this requires a GPS for your feelings. The 5th ECOT is a lesson in asymmetry. It teaches us that balance isn't always about perfect symmetry. Sometimes it's about finding stability in an unbalanced shape, acknowledging the different lengths and angles, and loving them anyway. We're at the 6th ICOT. The decagon spins, the screen glows, and our number jumps to 60. 60 people. At this point, you need a personal assistant just to remember everyone's birthdays. As we add more connections, a new powerful shape begins to emerge. The hexagon. The hexagon Joas. 6 sides, 6 corners. And why is the hexagon so special? Because it's nature's favorite shape for building strong, efficient structures. Think of a honeycomb. The hexagon is the ultimate shape for tessellation. It means you can fit them together perfectly with no gaps. In relationship terms, this is huge. It represents a network that is incredibly stable and interconnected. A group of 6 people can form a closed hexagonal loop. Or, more likely, you have interlocking hexagons, where individuals are a part of multiple 6-person units. You are a corner in your hexagon, and you're also a corner in the hexagon next to you. You are the link. This is how you build a true community. This is the polyamorous kibbutz. It's a highly integrated, communal living situation, but for love. The honeycomb structure means that support is never far away. If one hexagon is under stress, the adjacent hexagons can provide support. It distributes emotional labor across the entire network. If you have a crisis at 3 a.m., you don't just have 1 or 2 partners to call. You have an entire honeycomb of people who have your back. It's a beautiful vision of collective care. But there's a flip side to the honeycomb. The same structure that provides stability can also feel incredibly rigid. Where is the room for individuality? The pressure to conform to the needs of the hive can be immense. What if you're not a hexagon person? What if you're a free-floating trapezoid just trying to live your life? The tight-knit nature of the honeycomb can feel claustrophobic. The hive requires your emotional labor, Dave. Resistance is futile. And let's talk about gossip. In a honeycomb network of 60 people, information travels faster than the speed of light. A secret whispered in one corner of the hive will be common knowledge on the other side by lunchtime. There is no privacy. Your business is everyone's business. This demands a level of transparency that is almost superhuman. You have to be okay with your life being an open book because the walls of the honeycomb are very, very thin. The sixth ECOT presents a fundamental choice. Do you embrace the hive? Do you find beauty and strength in the collective, in becoming a part of a larger, tessellated whole? Or do you fight for your individuality against the crushing efficiency of the hexagon? For a 60-person network to survive, it has to find a balance between the needs of the honeycomb and the needs of the individual bees. It's the eternal struggle between community and self, played out in the geometric theater of love. ECOT number 7. The Decagon spins, and we hit 70 people. 70. We are now in the deep end. And with the 7th rotation, we encounter a strange, awkward, and fascinating shape, the heptagon. 7 sides, the heptagon Joas. Now, why is the heptagon so weird? Because unlike the triangle, square, or hexagon, you can't create a perfect, regular heptagon using just a compass and a straight edge. It's an irrational shape, and that feels appropriate. A 7-person relationship loop is inherently unstable. 7 is a prime number. You can't divide it neatly. This means you can't break the group down into smaller, stable subunits like pairs or threes. It's all or nothing. This creates a weird, lopsided dynamic. There's always an odd one out. In any decision, you can't have a tie. It's always 4-3, 5-2, or 6-1. Someone is always on the losing side of the vote. It's like a perpetual season of Survivor, but with more shared streaming passwords. The heptagon represents the point where formal structures begin to break down. You can't easily tessellate heptagons. They don't fit together neatly like hexagons. They leave gaps. They create chaos. A network of 70 people organized around heptagonal principles would be a beautiful mess. It would be defined by its irregularity, its unpredictability. You can't plan for the angles of a heptagon. You just have to react to them. This is where relationship anarchy truly begins to shine. Relationship anarchy is a philosophy that says you shouldn't rank or prioritize your relationships. Every connection is unique and stands on its own terms. A 70-person network almost this philosophy. You can't possibly maintain a hierarchy with 70 people. You have to let go of control and embrace the chaos. The heptagon, in its awkwardness, forces you to abandon the idea of a perfect, predictable system. Think of the communication pathways. In a heptagon, every person is connected to every other person. That's 21 unique pairs to manage inside a single 7-person group. Now multiply that across a network of 70 people. It's not a honeycomb, it's a spider web caught in a hurricane. Information doesn't flow, it ricochets. This environment can be incredibly creative and dynamic. New connections form in the gaps left by the irregular shapes. It's fertile ground for spontaneity, but it's also exhausting. Living in a state of constant flux with no stable structures to lean on is not for the faint of heart. The 7th ECOT is a stress test. It pushes the geometric metaphor to its limits. It asks if love and connection can thrive without the neat angles and predictable sides of simpler polygons. Can you find beauty in the gaps, in the irrational, in the slightly off-kilter shape of a 7-sided love affair? Or is 7 truly an unlucky number for relationships? ECOT number 8. The Decagon spins. We are at 80 people. 80. That's more people than attended my cousin's wedding. And with the 8th rotation, we get a shape that's all about stopping and taking notice. The octagon. The octagon Jawas. 8 sides. The shape of a stop sign. And that is, honestly, incredibly symbolic at this stage of complexity. The octagon represents a moment of pause, of regulation. After the chaos of the heptagon, the octagon brings back a sense of order. It's a highly symmetrical shape. You can divide it neatly. It feels solid, stable, and deliberate. An 8-person relationship, or a network of 80 people built on octagonal principles, is one that has to be intentional. You don't just fall into an octagonal polycule, you build it, carefully, with rules. Think of the stop sign. It's a command. It means you have to stop, look, and listen before proceeding. In an 80-person network, this is crucial. Before you make a decision, before you start a new relationship, before you change the terms of an existing one, you have to stop. You have to consider how your actions will affect the other 7 people in your immediate octagon, and how that will ripple out into the wider network. Every intersection is a 4-way stop. It slows things down, forcing mindfulness. This is the level where you see things like poly-constitutions and relationship agreements that look like legal documents. Article 3, Section 2. The introduction of a new partner requires a 30-day notice period and a 2/3 majority vote from the primary octagonal unit. It sounds clinical, but it's a survival mechanism. The octagon is a bureaucratic shape. It's about process and procedure. It's the Department of Motor Vehicles of Love. It might be slow and frustrating, but it prevents crashes. The structure of the octagon also allows for clear subgroupings. You can have 2 stable squares joining together, or you can have a central core of 4 people with 4 other partners connected to them, like spokes on a wheel. This allows for different levels of intimacy and connection within the larger shape, but in a way that is balanced and predictable, unlike the lopsided trapezoid. It's a mature, structured approach to managing complexity. But can romance survive this much regulation? The octagon forces a trade-off. You gain stability and safety, but you might lose spontaneity and passion. Everything becomes a scheduled meeting. Is there room for serendipity when every move has to be approved by a committee? The 8th ECOT asks us to consider the price of stability. In a network of 80 people, the stop sign is a necessary tool for survival, but you have to be careful it doesn't stop the heart of the relationships from beating altogether. We are so close. The 9th ECOT. The decagon spins one more time before the final rotation. We are at 90 people. 90. You now have more partners in your network than there are elements on the periodic table. And here we encounter the nonagon, the 9-sided shape, the nonagon Jawas. The nonagon is a fascinating, frustrating shape. It's so close to being the perfect 10 of the decagon, but it's not quite there. It's the penultimate step. A 9-sided relationship is a powerhouse of complexity. 9 is 3 times 3. This means a nonagon can be seen as a triangle of triangles. You have 3 groups of 3, all interconnected. This creates a structure that is both incredibly strong and incredibly prone to factionalism. You have natural cliques forming within the larger group. The triangle of Scorpios who always team up. The triangle of vegans who judge everyone's potluck contributions. It's high school all over again, but with more adults. The challenge of the nonagon is managing these subgroups. How do you maintain the unity of the 9 when it so easily breaks down into 3? It requires a constant, conscious effort to bridge the gaps between the triangles. You need designated ambassadors, people whose role it is to cross the lines and ensure the different factions are communicating. Without that, your nonagon shatters into 3 separate and possibly competing love triangles. At a scale of 90 people, this dynamic plays out on a massive level. The network is so large that it naturally forms clusters, neighborhoods, or subcools. The nonagon Jawas are the masters of inter-community diplomacy. They understand that their 90-person network isn't one monolithic entity. It's a federation of smaller states that have agreed to work together. And just like any federation, there's always the risk of secession. The nonagon also represents the feeling of being almost there. It's a shape of anticipation. It's so close to the decagon, the foundational shape we started with. There's a tension in the nonagon, a sense of incompleteness. It's like watching a progress bar that's stuck at 99%. This can be a powerful motivator. The group is always striving, always reaching for that final side, that final connection to make the shape whole. It can foster a dynamic of constant growth and improvement, but it can also be a source of constant dissatisfaction, the feeling that something is missing, the sense that the structure is not yet complete. The ninth ECOT is about managing this tension. It's about living in the almost, in the space just before the finish line. It's about building bridges between factions and holding a complex multipolar system together, all while looking ahead to that final 10th side. It's the deep breath before the final plunge. This is it, the final ECOT, the 10th rotation. The decagon spins, and it clicks perfectly into place, aligning with all the others. We are at 100 people. 100. We have achieved critical mass. We are back where we started, but on a cosmic scale. This is the Decagon Joas. The ultimate formula. 100 people, organized in a decagon of decagons. What does this mean? It means we have 10 interconnected circle Jawas of 10 people each. But it's not just 10 separate circles. Remember our first rotation? A closed loop of 10 people. Now imagine 10 of those loops, and each person in each loop is also a bridge to one of the other loops. Person A in circle 1 is linked to person K in circle 2. Person B in circle 1 is linked to person L in circle 3, and so on. It is a perfectly balanced, mind-bendingly complex, and utterly beautiful structure. This is the polyamorous ideal, rendered in pure geometry. It combines the egalitarian nature of the circle with the strength and tessellation of the hexagon. It has the scale of a community and the internal integrity of a tightly knit unit. Every single person in this 100-person network is connected to everyone else through a clear, predictable, and symmetrical pathway. It's the grand central station of love, and all the trains are running on time. To live in this structure is to achieve a kind of relationship nirvana. The support system is absolute. The potential for connection, for learning, for growth is limitless. Communication has to be so evolved that it's practically telepathic. The level of trust required is monumental. You have to trust not just your direct partners, but 99 other people to uphold the integrity of the shape. It's a collective act of faith, manifested as a living, breathing geometric proof. Of course, this is a theoretical absolute. A platonic ideal, in every sense of the word. Is a perfect 100-person decapolycule possible in the real world? Probably not. It's too perfect. Humans are messy. We're not perfect circles or squares. We are irrational heptagons and lopsided trapezoids. But the decagon formula gives us something to strive for. It's a blueprint for a more connected, more intentional way of loving. The 10th ECOT brings us full circle. It shows us the ultimate potential of the geometry of polyamory. It's a system so complex it becomes simple again. A structure so vast it becomes a single, unified whole. It's the idea that you can build a world out of love, one connection, one side, one angle at a time, until you have created something with 100 sides, all of them shining. So, there you have it. 10 rotations, 100 people, and a whole lot of high school math you thought you'd never use. We've seen how simple shapes can help us understand the incredibly complex architecture of modern love. From the simple circle to the chaotic heptagon to the perfect decagon, geometry gives us a language to talk about the different structures we build with our hearts. It shows us that relationships aren't just about feelings. They're also about design, balance, and architecture. Whether it's a line, a triangle, or a full-blown honeycomb, the shape of our connections matters. Love isn't a one-size-fits-all equation. For some, happiness is a straight line. For others, it's a stable square. And for some, it's a sprawling 90-person network of interlocking nonagons. The point isn't to find the right shape. It's to understand the properties of the shape you're in. What are its strengths? Where are its pressure points? Is it balanced? Is it sustainable? Geometry doesn't judge. It just describes the properties of the form. It gives us a blueprint to understand the beautiful, messy, and ever-changing structures we call relationships. Ultimately, the most important thing is to be the architect of your own love life. So, I want you to think about it. What shape are you? Are you a solid triangle? A balanced square? A chaotic but beautiful spiderweb? There's no wrong answer. The geometry of love is infinite. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm Rage's Band. Stay curious.